All right, thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications, and of course, participate in the conversation by upvoting and commenting down below. Anyway, I'm here with Derek Vandygriff. It's LSU week. It's a special week. How you doing, Derek?
Doing pretty good. Woke up this morning to 33-degree weather here in North Mississippi. That was pretty unfortunate. But outside of that, like I said, it's LSU week, so the fire keeps burning.
Yeah, seriously. It got down to like 75, if there's any consolation where I am. It's cold weather. It's almost get your winter gear ready out. The weatherman going crazy because. So anyway,
I walked out. I was really missing that 115 heat index there for a minute. I'd rather have that than something in the 30s.
Yeah, that is me too. That's the reason I moved down here. I don't deal with cold weather well at all. I can handle hot weather. I'm from South Mississippi. I had 100 days I practiced football in all through high school. I can deal with this. Anyway, I don't know if I've made the announcement, but you and Tom Vanderford will be my guest analyst on the postcast. We kind of did it a little bit differently last weekend, and it was fairly well received being interactive like that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I look forward to it. Luckily it's a 2:30 game, so maybe I'll have at least some of my wits about me. If it was a 6 o'clock game, then I'd show up in body. Ain't no telling where my mind would be at though.
Yeah, generally on postcasts on night games, I don't have a guest analyst because I'm not going to ask anybody to stay up till 10:30 for me. So it'll just be me for Texas A&M. But luckily this year has been mostly day games.
Yeah, and I'm kind of excited, like I said, for the Texas A&M game. Kind of get us a night game. I actually don't mind the 11 o'clock games, though. I can get up, get my stuff done, and sit back, get our game knocked out of the way, and then I can spend the rest of the day stress-free watching football. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. If people can see below, LSU right now at the time of recording this is 2-point favorites over number 7 Ole Miss. I can't tell if that is disrespect. I don't know what to make of this, but it feels like Ole Miss fans, feels like most people are going to jump on that, right?
Well, they certainly better. I was kind of expecting the line to be 4.5, 5 points, something like that. I just think we're a lot better team than LSU. I know we're going down playing in Baton Rouge, but kind of like we talked about last week, we get the sunshine in this one. We don't have to play under the moon in that stadium, and that goes a long way when you're playing down there. But I think with our running game, though, if you run the ball, if we can shore up the tackling, that's what killed us a lot last week. And if you do that, running and defense certainly travels. It does week in and week out, and that's certainly one thing we can do with the best of them is run the ball.
Yeah, seriously, what storyline Saturday are you paying attention to? What's something interesting that you might think of?
I'm real interested in that Alabama and Mississippi State game. I saw something earlier today that kind of made me chuckle a little bit. But between Ole Miss winning the national championship in baseball and then us being in the driver's seat in the West halfway through the college football season, we've driven Mississippi State fans to actually root for Alabama during an Alabama-Mississippi State game, so it doesn't give us another leg up in the West. So that's pretty good there. We're really messing with their heads a little bit down there. And I know you don't talk trash, Stephen, but that's why you bring me on from time to time. That way I can do it for you. But seriously, a lot of really good games this coming up weekend across college football, not just the SEC. You look at Clemson and Syracuse there at 11 o'clock. That's a really big game. Kind of see if Syracuse is for real a little bit. Kind of like Ole Miss and LSU. There's UCLA playing at Oregon. That's another game where you see if the Bruins are for real or not. And, these Ole Miss, Syracuse, and UCLA kind of 3 Cinderella teams, if you want to call it that, this late into the college football season, all have chances to go get 3 really big road victories to catapult themselves into that playoff talk.
Yeah, seriously. And the Mississippi State thing's just beyond. I saw that post, and it got put out, and it was like, What? You always
Yeah,
root for your team. That's what it should be about. And
yeah, yeah. I mean, they are
that's
down
bizarre.
bad in Starkville, man. Bad
Yeah,
down bad.
yeah. Well, anyway, in the Ole Miss LSU game, what are you going to be watching for in the game?
We always talk about us running the ball and stuff like that. This could be a situation where Jackson Dart steps up and has another game kind of like he did against Vanderbilt if they really key in on it. Watkins has been playing really well for us there at receiver, and you know what Jonathan Mingo can do, and you saw what Dayton Wade can do for us. Just another weapon you add to this explosive offense. Our offensive line's been playing really, really good. But for us, obviously, it's the defensive side of the ball. Do we get Cedric Johnson back? Get him and Keys and Coleman and all those guys flying around making plays for us a little bit. That was kind of the name of the defense for us there the first few weeks of the year, and those guys started getting banged up a little bit. And but get them back, tackle, 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 tackle. Quit missing all those dang tackles, and make Jaden Daniels beat you through the air. I don't care what he did last week. I know he threw for 300 and some odd yards against Florida in Gainesville. That still didn't sell me on anything with him, okay, as far as throwing the ball. When you look at teams that have gone into Gainesville and played this year, quarterbacks have had some of their best games of the year up and down their schedule. Brady Cook from Missouri threw for 220 yards in Gainesville. That's his second highest output of the year. And Gunnar Talkington from Eastern Washington went down to Gainesville and threw for 250. That's his second highest of the year, and he plays an FCS schedule, right? I mean, I think we need to step back a little bit from LSU putting up 45 in Gainesville and actually look at what that means. Florida's just not that good of a team. And, with Billy Napier down there, I think he'll probably get it turned around sooner rather than later. But he's not quite there yet. So Jaden Daniels will have to beat me with his arm instead of his legs this weekend. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is kind of a plus Robbie Ashford.
Yes.
In my mind. And so you want him to throw the football, but if he runs the ball, he can be dangerous. But you want him to be able to throw the football, lock up Keyshawn Butte, play some good run defense, and I think you walk out of Baton Rouge with a win.
Yeah, I do too. Like I said, I mean, it blows my mind when I looked yesterday and saw that we had already moved to an underdog. That's just people buying in to the Death Valley narrative, that you see week in, week out every single year. People talk about how hard it is to go down there and play. And, it is a difficult place to play, but it hasn't been particularly difficult for Ole Miss. Historically, we've played pretty well down there. Some of our best games against LSU have been down there in Baton Rouge. And, as long as we come out with the red tops and the powder blue helmet with the number on the side of it, we should probably walk out of there with a double-digit victory.
Okay, you brought it up, not me. I've tried not to. The powder blue helmets are the numbers I can do. If you're going to wear powder blue helmets, the numbers need to be on the side. I want the navy helmet with the red jersey. I want the OGs out there. I mean, to me, that just looks like college football.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what you think of when you think of Ole Miss and LSU, the red tops with the navy helmets, and then LSU with either all whites or with the whites and the yellow pants. That's what you see, ever since I was growing up. That's what you saw every single time we made our trip down there. But I absolutely love those powder blue helmets with the number on the side of it with those red tops. I think it's probably the best look in all college football.
Yeah, the wild card is the real tree helmets and the red jersey. I think that's the wild card for this weekend.
And quite frankly, I think that's the better jersey to go with that helmet. I liked it when we wore the powders with it there the first time, but I was just sitting there thinking all the time, I was like, man, if they put a red jersey with that helmet, that would look so awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're going to walk off the bus. They're going to win the uniform competition. It's not even going to be close, honestly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about prediction times. What is your prediction? How is the Ole Miss LSU game going to go?
Oh, as far as Ole Miss goes, it's going to be like every game you've seen us play this year. I think we talked about it last week that one thing Ole Miss has done a really good job of this year is we haven't really had to sit there and adjust the teams throughout the year. We've dictated pace, we've dictated how the game goes, and we've gotten there and we've imposed our will. We're always really physical up front. And that's one thing the offensive line's gotten even better at here the last couple of weeks. They struggled here there for a couple of weeks there to begin the season, but man, they are playing mean football up there, and they're there to just hit you in the mouth and put you in the ground. Nick Broker's just throwing fools all over the place. I mean, he's playing really good football right now. So you'll see more of that. I'm sure Lane's going to have some wrinkles in there, but for the most part, I think we're going to see us line up, use Evans and Judkins, and try to catch them off guard here and there with the defensive end crashing, get Dart to pull it and run the ball, and maybe see him incorporate a few more passes in this week. But last week really didn't have to. There was no reason for us to drop back and throw the ball last week. It's as good as we were running the ball. So, I think it's going to be more of the same for Ole Miss as far as that goes. And I'll go ahead and say Ole Miss wins 38-14, blowout in Baton Rouge.
Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, are you a 1997 guy? Or are you a 2008 guy?
Oh, okay, that is a good one. That 97 one, that really takes me back because those were some of the earlier years of me watching Ole Miss football. That's when we went down there and Grant Hurd just slanted them to death, wasn't it? Isn't that year?
Yeah, it was Stuart Patrick's year.
Oh, yeah, over and over and over again, and every time you saw us drop back, you just knew you were going to see 88 streaking across the middle, about 7 yards downfield, and Stewart was going to put it on him. That was a really good one. And then trying to think of what year it was, 2000 and it was either 01 or 02, I think, with Doug Ziegler in the back of the end zone. I went down there. 01, yeah, that was one of my favorite ones.
99 happened too. 99 wasn't on TV. Nobody really saw it, but Ole Miss ran for nearly 400 yards on the Tigers that night. That could be the blueprint for Saturday, if we're going to be honest about it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. 01 always sticks with me because my dad decided to go down there and leave me at the house. So that was a painful memory, but at the same time, at least I got to stay up and watch the Rebels win, and my man Doug caught the pass.
Yeah, I think the schedule changed, and in 01 and 02, both games were in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, you're right, because that's when they were flipping, so we didn't play LSU, Auburn, and Alabama all on the road on the same year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that. So, anyway, get more of the SEC by making Locked On SEC your second listen. Everyday host Chris Gordy and his local experts of Locked On take you across the SEC in 30 minutes. Make Locked On SEC your second listen. Locked On SEC. Derek, thank you so much, and we will see you for the postcast Saturday night, bud.
Yeah, man, I'll be here, brother.
All right, hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.